quick anime recap for Love After World Domination. Freezing Sentai Gelato 5 team leader Fudou Akawa, also known as the Red Gelato, enjoys a date with his secret girlfriend, supervillain Desumi, while his teammates fight her minions. However, when Blue Gelato finds them, the two immediately engage in combat. When Blue leaves, they return to their romance. Fudou then reminisces about how this happened. A week earlier, the Gelato 5, consisting of Fudou, Haru, the pink gelato, Hayato, the blue gelato, Misaki, the yellow gelato, and Daigo, the green gelato, learned of a new villainess known as the Reaper Princess, a member of the villainous organization Secret Society Gecko. They later defeated Gecko member Culverin Bear and his army. But during that fight, Fudou faced Desumi by himself, where he was smitten by her. Later, back at headquarters, Fudou reveals to Professor Big Gelato that he fell in love, with Professor Big G encouraging him to express his feelings right away. Fudou then takes his advice literally and summons Desumi to an abandoned warehouse. Assuming this was a trick, Desumi attacks him, but was won over when she realized how serious Fudou was. Back in the present, they swear to keep the secret safe, as they are forced to fake fight again once Yellow Gelato arrives. Gecko members, including Desumi, fight against the Gelato 5 in a shipyard which is being televised. Desumi and Fudou eventually get a chance to break away from the fight to take a picture together. However, when Yellow arrives, Desumi feigns defeat by playing dead. Suddenly, while she's on the ground, a news team lands to interview Fudou. She then overhears him being interviewed about his romantic life where Yellow makes fun of him. Once Yellow and the news team leave, Desumi asks Fudou to actually take her on a proper date. Back at the headquarters, while a nervous Fudou is doing research about date activities, a drunk Misaki arrives and tells him to just do things they can both enjoy. The next day, he literally follows her advice and starts by taking Desumi to the gym. Afterwards, he takes her for a run and then gives her a protein bar for dinner. After Desumi excuses herself, Misaki calls Fudou, telling him to disregard her drunken advice. Distraught, he believes that he has disappointed Desumi and goes to look for her. Once they reunite, Desumi assures him that she's happy just being with him. Delighted, they nearly kiss before they are cucked and are called back into action. Sometime later, Helko, Desumi's cat, reflects on how lonely Desumi was prior to her relationship with Fudou. While she accepts Fudou's role and Desumi's newfound happiness, Helko swears to make Fudou pay if he does something to harm Desumi. Following weeks of inactivity from Gecko, Fudou severely misses Desumi. As such, he immediately takes on a super dangerous solo operation to infiltrate Gecko's base to destroy a new weapon, leaving Big Gelato and Yellow to be concerned for him. Desumi, similarly lonely, finds him in a vent inside Gecko's base. She happily takes him to her dressing room to play some card games with him. However, an unexpected video report pushes Desumi to sit on his face. Culverin Bear also barges in and the two almost get caught, having to hide inside a small locker. Fudou then accidentally discomforts Desumi, who punches him out of the locker in embarrassment. He then slams into Culverin Bear, activating his new weapons, which explode violently and destroy the base, leading to Yellow and Big Gelato to think Fudou has accomplished his mission. The next day, Gecko Supreme Leader Bosslar meets with Desumi and the other villains, revealing their plan of stealing people's negative emotions and turning them into monsters is coming to fruition. Desumi proposes an amusement park as a desirable place to attack, and meets with Fudou there. A fight then breaks out, and while the Gelato 5 deal with the Gecko army, Fudou and Desumi enjoy some time together on some rides. As the superheroes leave, Pink discovers a picture taken on a roller coaster, in which Fudou appears to be beside a girl. Outside their activities, Desumi and Fudou are actually just normal students. While walking home from school, Desumi sees Fudou and Pink inside a cafe. She runs away upset after her friends casually mention that they might be dating. Pink then states that she wanted to talk about the picture, but convinces herself that Fudou is not dating anyone. They are then called into action, where Desumi unleashes a new move in her fight against Fudou. Taking him aside, she admits that while she knows that he was not cheating on her, she still felt jealous. Fudou reassures her that he loves her and embraces her. They are then surprised by Pink, who reveals she has overheard the entire conversation. The next day, while Red freaks out, Pink only informs the Gelato 5 of her and Fudou's upcoming school exams, surprising Red. That same night, Pink challenges Desumi to a fight but is quickly defeated. She wakes up on Desumi's bag, where Desumi questions her why she didn't expose their relationship. Pink reveals that she joined the Gelato 5 due to her love for Fudou, and she was inspired in the past by Desumi, who defended her from bullies at school. As she cares deeply for both, she didn't want to ruin their happiness. The two then tearfully embrace, and while walking back, Pink jokingly warns Desumi that she will take Fudou for herself if she's not careful. Following a meeting with Bossman Bosslar, fellow villain Steel Princess reveals to Desumi that despite her unappealing demeanor, she has actually fallen in love. Desumi immediately agrees to help, and alongside a reluctant Beast Princess, attempts to teach Steel about womanliness. However, their attempt has gone awry, making Steel even less confident in herself. After telling Fudou about the situation, he advises Desumi to help Steel to accept herself as she is. Then, Desumi and Beast enter Steel's dressing room, where, after dodging her anguish-driven attacks, Desumi manages to tell Steel to be herself and accept her own feelings. While crying, Steel takes her armor off and gathers the courage to confess her feelings to Culverin Bear. Sometime later, Pink helps keep Desumi and Fudou hidden during a fight against Gecko. After Pink leaves, Desumi attempts to feed lunch to Fudou, but he suffers from a sudden appendicitis. In the hospital, Desumi visits Fudou and finally manages to feed him, much to his delight. However, before they can kiss, Fudou's mother appears and takes Desumi away for a volleyball match. After the game, Fudou's mother shows Desumi his baby pictures and asks her to take care of him. If you got this far, leave some love. Bossler announces that Desumi has been chosen for a promotion, which involves her being fused with a gorilla. While she receives support, Desumi doubts if she wants to do it. That night, she receives a call from her family, as her father explains that her promotion has made them all proud. Her normally shy little sister, Urami, tells Desumi that she sees her as her idol, and wishes to join Gecko someday. She then reunites with Fudou, who tells her to just follow her feelings. The next day, Desumi turns down the promotion, much to Bossler's delight. Sometime later, Gecko is at the beach after Fudou told Desumi that they would be testing a new robot there. Gelato 5's new submarine arrives for a test drive, so Desumi reunites with Fudou. Beast, hiding behind a rock, mistakes Fudou and Desumi's activities as torture. That night, Desumi joins the Gelato 5 for dinner, where Yellow thanks Desumi for making Fudou a better man. They then watch the fireworks and burn sparklers, while Beast mistakes an explosion accidentally caused by Big Gelato as Desumi's doing. On the train ride back, Daigo analyzes a picture of Desumi and Fudou closely.
The story continues as Daigo collapses when he hears Desumi's name. When asked about it, Daigo tells Fudou about their past. 10 years prior, Daigo was a pupil in a karate academy until Desumi arrived one day, where he discovered how absurdly powerful she truly was. Sometime later, Daigo's master closed the academy after Desumi defeated him. Daigo then offered to train her. However, despite Desumi's respect for him, he had to train hard just to remain alive. Daigo requested one final battle after Desumi finally becomes of age. After she defeated him, he left her. Back in the present, Daigo expresses his desire to enlist Desumi into the Gelato 5. During an outing, Fudou presents Desumi to Daigo. While she's happy to see Daigo again, she declines his offer. Seeing how Desumi acts with Fudou, Daigo believes love has made her weak and challenges her once again. He tells her that she will leave Fudou and join the Gelato 5 if he wins, prompting Desumi to beat the Giga Weakling instantly. Later, while walking home, Desumi feels uncomfortable that the Gelato 5 already knows of their romance, and advises Fudou to keep their guard up. Then, unbeknownst to them, a mysterious girl captures them on camera. Fudou then receives a picture of him and Desumi. Meanwhile, at school, Desumi is teased by a girl named Hojo. That night, Fudou meets with the mysterious sender of the picture, who turns out to be Hojo. She threatens to blackmail him if he does not break up with Desumi. Hojo then attempts to have him kiss her hand, but she runs away out of embarrassment. Once Desumi is informed of the situation, she reaches to the conclusion that the girl loves Fudou. However, the next day, he kindly rejects Hojo. She then reveals that she's actually in love with Desumi. After Hojo explains how she and Desumi first met, Fudou commends her for her godlike taste. Afterwards, Hojo leaves, as is it revealed that she is actually the masked heat princess. Sometime later, Fudou agrees to tutor Arisugawa, and Desumi tags along. They study in Desumi's room, but they only succeed in confusing her with their unusual methods. After Arisugawa leaves, Fudou reveals to Desumi that he intends to become a teacher. As such, she states her desire to study with him, wanting to be a witness to his journey. Unfortunately, their moment is interrupted by the arrival of Desumi's father. Desumi's father, a former Gecko soldier, chastises her for declining her promotion. When Fudou comes to her defense, he is silenced by Urami. Desumi's father tells her that she must devote herself to Gecko after she finishes high school, but Fudou tells him that she desires to go to university. Fudou gets Desumi's father approval after he commends his skill to be defeated spectacularly. He then leaves, agreeing to postpone the matter. Sometime later, Urami remembers the moment she began admiring Desumi. As Desumi tours Urami around Gecko headquarters, Urami gets disheartened when Desumi is friendly with her coworkers. During a shopping trip, a disappointed Urami leaves Desumi. Meanwhile, in a corner, she remembers how much her family told her about Desumi's success as a member of Gecko when she was little. It's revealed she finally came out of her room when she heard of Desumi's promotion, expressing her desire to be just like her. Back in the present, Urami is approached by some thugs, but Desumi deals with them spectacularly. Desumi then tells Urami to find love, explaining that it's needed to become stronger. She then finally accepts who Desumi is now, but continues to disapprove of Fudou. The next day, Desumi briefs Fudou about her high school's culture festival, including an event called the Kokite Moon, which is said to create lifelong couples out of people who have their picture taken on it. As such, they resolve to go together. Fudou then attends the festival, but is quickly recognized and swarmed by students while carrying Ajino on his shoulders. Meanwhile, Desumi is constantly harassed by Hojo, all while Beast is patrolling the school. However, Desumi and Fudou manage to meet in a haunted house, but their moment is again quickly ruined by Beast. Once the Kokite Moon is unveiled, Desumi and Fudou rush to its location. Desumi also finally manages to get rid of Hojo when she sets her up to fight with the Blood Princess. She then reunites with Fudou, who is left alone when Ajino chases after Beast. With only 5 minutes left, they begin losing hope. However, when they see Steel was fooled by a student wearing a costume similar to Culver and Bear, they switch into their respective outfits, and people confuse them as cosplayers. As such, they succeed in having their picture taken, promising to live to see their relationship be accepted by everyone. The quiet Judgment Princess always tries to avoid social interactions. As such, Desumi tricks her into attending a sleepover with the other princesses in her room. They eat takoyaki, watch movies, and mess around. They then talk about romance, and Judgment asks about what love is. She then teases Desumi when she detects that she is in love. That night, Desumi thanks Judgment for coming, and she admits she had a good time. Sometime later, Desumi and Fudou hang out in a snowy refuge, and Fudou tells her of a book signing event for his new book. However, she catches a cold and is then cared for by the Blood Princess. Beast then also rushes to save her, as she tells Steel how blood brainwashes her patients into acting as babies. They find Desumi dressed as one, and they are both captured when they try to save her. When Fudou infiltrates the school, he finds Desumi in this state. Embarrassed, he reads her his book, which snaps her back to normal. He then tearily tells her that nobody came to his event, so Desumi excitedly receives his first autograph. Meanwhile, Blood holds Beast and Steel hostage, treating them as babies as well. Fast forward to when Fudou tells Desumi that he has been hired to appear in a wedding commercial, which includes a cake-cutting scene with a famous idol. When she tells him that he cannot accept the role, he accuses her of being selfish. Once she leaves, Arisugawa makes Fudou understand the pain Desumi is feeling. Elsewhere, Boslor showcases the Ultimate Phantom, a monster created from negative energy. The Phantom turns out to be too strong as it absorbs the powers of those it consumes. After it escapes, the Phantom attacks the chute, and while Fudou gets everyone to safety, a cake he made for Desumi is sadly destroyed. The rest of Gelato 5, Beast, and Steel then try to fight the Phantom, but to no avail. Big Gelato then explains to Fudou that the only way to defeat the Phantom is by combining the Gelato 5 weapons into one sword, the Gelato Claymore. When Desumi arrives, She finds Fudou's cake. Desumi then helps him hold the claymore, and together, they manage to slice the Phantom. Afterwards, the Phantom is reduced to a baby, and Desumi attacks Fudou again to keep their ruse going when they are suddenly interviewed, promising to see each other once again.